disappointed. I don't want to say this, but I have to. I said, Pete and General Yasmin Khan, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled. It's these guys are doing a great job. That's a good attitude, though, Tom, right? They were not interested in settlement. They were interested in just winning this thing.
It's funny that he said he didn't want to say what he said, that he had to say what he said, but he really didn't have to. That was a wholly unnecessary anecdote. But there are reports now that our Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who would rather be called the Secretary of War because he has the mind of a child, has been feeding the president misleading information about the ongoing war in Iran. According to reporting, Pete is not speaking truth to the president, one administration official told the Washington Post. As a result, the president is out there repeating misleading information. Hegseth has been giving Trump a steady diet of short videos showing U.S. airstrikes on Iranian targets, fueling the commander-in-chief's belief that the U.S. is on the verge of a decisive victory, U.S. officials familiar with the matter told the Wall Street Journal. Additionally, Hegseth told reporters a week ago that the U.S. has already done much of what it had set out to do, saying that the number of Iranian drone and missile launches had dropped to its lowest level since the war began. Unfortunately, that simply was not true, according to internal documents. Hegseth also now infamously boasted that U.S. jets could safely enter Iranian airspace right before 2 U.S. jets were downed in Iranian airspace. Still, he's the one who has Trump's ear, so Trump only hears the good parts of what's happening over there. Perhaps there's a chance that Trump doesn't actually see the situation for what it really is. We're at around a month and a half into this illegal war, and to hear now that Trump doesn't even know what's going on makes a lot of sense. For the past few weeks, we have been constantly hearing conflicting information from the president and from the administration about what's happening in Iran. At this point, we're getting more information from the Iranians than we're getting from our own leaders, so we can't really trust much of anything that we're hearing. Even for the Trump supporters who still support him and support his war, the same Trump supporters who voted, by the way, for an America First president and then quickly abandoned their own morals and values because Trump told them to, what exactly are they supporting? How could they possibly know what it is that they're supporting? Trump has deigned to give the American people even a false narrative as to why he's invading and attacking Iran. He just said he was going to do it because something nuclear. He didn't bother to pretend to have any evidence of a nuclear threat. He didn't really call too much attention to the fact that Israel is the one who wants a war with Iran, but Israel would prefer not to spend their own money, weaponry, or people on actually going to war with Iran. They'd much rather just have us do it for them. Still, Trump told us that he would be cutting 10% of all government funding across the board from things that are already horrifically underfunded in this country, like education and childcare and healthcare and more, because he wants to increase our already inflated military budget by an unbelievable 42%. He also told us that even though we've already won this war in Iran, and even though we've already achieved all of our initial objectives, achieved and exceeded, by the way, whatever they even were, he's going to now be sending our military on the ground in Iran. There is no way that goes well for us. Additionally, he said that he doesn't have the time or the resources to worry about any of the issues that Americans are facing right here at home. The America First president does not have time for America. Things like the affordability crisis, things that have only been made worse by Trump's actions in Iran, he now has no time to deal with. And on top of everything, he is doing all of this in the middle of tax season. Well, Trump had a weird Easter Sunday, and because he's a narcissist, we all had to have a weird Easter Sunday. He praised Allah to start. He told Iran to open the effing strait. He later said that he would bomb them back to the Stone Age, so he threatened genocide against an entire people. And then he changed his mind, agreeing to a 2-week ceasefire as long as Iran opened the strait. So he killed the Ayatollah, which I guess was one of the objectives, but then they just replaced him with another Ayatollah. So was anything actually accomplished there? That is debatable. Then he said he wanted the strait open, even though Iran only closed it to the US after Trump attacked them first. So now opening the strait is his new objective. The 2-week ceasefire is meant to serve as a period of negotiation. Fun fact though, Israel was not a part of this negotiation. They didn't agree to a 2-week ceasefire, so bombs are still being dropped between Iran and Israel. So a ceasefire, that's a loose term. There's no way Trump or anyone in his administration did not know that Iran would block US access to the strait as soon as the US attacked. Anyone with any modicum of understanding of geopolitics could have told you that, and I'm hoping the people running this country and military are included in that set of people. So you have to assume that that was, at least in part, their intended outcome from the beginning. The thing with geopolitics is that first part, the geo part, it's non-negotiable. The land dictates so much of how people live on it and interact with it. The land provides strategic and military advantages to those who control it. Wars are fought over strategic geography, and this one is no different. Iran gets to control the strait because of where Iran is located geographically in the world. The United States does not because of where we are located geographically in the world. Israel wants to control the strait and direct oil transit directly through Israel. So they triggered a chaotic and catastrophic event that is impacting nearly every corner of this planet. Iran, in the meantime, is collecting tons of money from other nations in fees paid for passage through the strait. The petrodollar system is collapsing. People, including civilians, children, and Americans have died. Trump and his rich friends are making a ton of money off of all of this. Billions of our tax dollars have been sunk into this war, but all of this is perhaps shining a light on the fact that Iran, just by virtue of geography, does have a significant advantage over the rest of the world, and perhaps other countries wouldn't mind that advantage being lessened somehow. Y'all are gonna hate me for this analogy, but this is where my mind went, so I will just give it to you and you can do what you want with it. This feels like when they put celebrities into conservatorships. When the celebrity becomes too big, they become too big to fail. All of the people who depend on that one celebrity for their livelihood become nervous that should the celebrity tank their career somehow, the whole ecosystem and economy that exists around them will also collapse. And that's a risk that cannot afford to be taken. So they make the celebrity seem erratic and unstable to justify locking them into an oppressive system of control. So I guess in this dumb analogy, Iran is Britney Spears, Israel is Britney's dad, and the United States is Lou Taylor, who is the person who facilitated Britney's conservatorship. And if that makes any sense to you, then I genuinely thank you for being here. On that note, Iran has released a 10-point peace plan proposal, but they insist that the US can have safe passage through the strait only in coordination with Iran's armed forces. They are still the ones in control. But I'll leave you with this tweet from Ben Rhodes. He said, in the best case scenario, Trump struck a deal to reopen a strait that was open before the pointless war he started, with the IRGC demonstrating its control over the strait and potentially extracting fees plus sanctions relief. Thousands of innocents, including hundreds of children, dead in Lebanon and Iran for no reason, U.S. troops killed and wounded, U.S. embassies and bases in the Middle East badly damaged, U.S. standing in the world obliterated, U.S. munitions badly depleted, hundreds of billions spent, prices up everywhere, more global economic fallout to come, Putin strengthened and enriched, just a catastrophic situation, even in the best of circumstances, a profoundly shameful episode in American history, no matter what happens next. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.